And welcome to the Box Score. Murphy Farrell along with Terry Collins. Our sponsors today are Blackwell Realty and the Josh Kirby team. It's the second round of the playoffs, Murph, and things are getting more fun.
Pressure's on, though, in the second round, as it always is. But a very special week for the Upper Cumberland as far as football is concerned in the DTC coverage area. All 5 teams that they've been covering on a regular basis got past the first round. I don't think that's ever happened before.
I'll agree. It's the first time since, I think, 78 that Cannon County has achieved that. And, kudos to the coaches, the players, the fans, because, playoff football is probably the most exciting time of the year.
And it's also the most stressful. But, you're showing that you're better. You're better. Each week that you advance, you got some extra trophies to probably concern yourself with or whatever. But it's been a fast football season as usual, but it's been an awfully good one for this part of the state.
Biggest win in the area was our DTC Game of the Week, sponsored by Huff and Puff Truck, and that's the Signal Mountain at Cannon County. Cannon County kicks a field goal there in the fourth quarter, Murph, a game that you were at. Statistically, not a lot of difference. I know when you look, Signal Mountain had that one drive of 65 yards, but basically Cannon County's defense won the ballgame for them.
Well, they did a great job of adjusting because, as you said, they kind of marched right down the field there to get the game started, and it looked like, this is going to be a tough one. But the one thing that Cannon County did not do, they never quit. They never quit the entire evening, and that's something that maybe cost them a couple of wins during the regular season. But those kids played awfully hard. And when it mattered, they came through with the big plays.
As evidenced by the score, not a lot of stats, but one that kind of jumps out at me, 2 turnovers by Signal Mountain.
And none were any bigger than the pick that Cannon County had to seal it there late in the fourth quarter.
Let's talk about some individual stats. Not a lot of stats in the game, but Dallas Roller leads Cannon County 11 rushes for 56 yards. Dylan Taylor, 6 rushes for 28 yards, a 28-yard reception for a TD. He had 8 tackles, 1 interception. And then Jack Byford, he's kind of the hero, Murphy. He hit the go-ahead field goal, 33 yards there in the fourth quarter, and also made his PAT. For Signal Mountain, 16 rushes for 65 yards and a touchdown for Logan Farr.
Jack Byford's field goal, he'll be talking about that when he's my age, 40 or 50 years from now. A big kick. It wasn't pretty, but it got through the uprights, and that's what mattered, and that was the difference in the ball game.
Let's look at DeKalb County's big win at East Hamilton. I know Coach Trapp talking about how good a squad, and they got behind, I think, about 14 points in this ball game. After getting down 21-7, they scored 28 unanswered to take that 35-21 victory. Kobe Barnes, big night for him, 18 rushes, 158 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Isaac Knowles, do everything for DeKalb, 5 tackles, forced a fumble, 3 receptions for 39 yards, 10 rushes for 66. He does it all.
You can't say enough about what DeKalb County football has been like this year. They've won some games that a lot of people thought they wouldn't. Maybe dropped a game or 2 that most people thought they might have won. But this is the one that really counted. East Hamilton's had a pretty good football team, I thought. But I did pick DeKalb County in that one just because of Coach Trapp. I've got so much respect for him, and I'm really happy for those kids for the win they got Friday night. 4
turnovers DeKalb County forced, and that played a big role in that game. Let's go ahead and look at the Bledsoe County at Watertown. Some of the stats from that game: 476 yards of offense for the Purple Tigers. Very balanced, 223 passing, 253 rushing. I know Coach Gavin Webster's got to be pleased with that. Adam Cooper with 2 rushing touchdowns of 23 and 91 yards. And then Kuzno, the do everything for Watertown in their 45-7 victory, a rushing touchdown and 2 passing touchdowns. They're headed, it looks like, of course, this week, but, everybody's looking past this week to that week 3 Trousdale County matchup in Watertown.
I was going to say, that's the big difference. It's not on the creek bank, boys. It's in Watertown, H2O town, so to speak.
Copper Basin at Gordonsville. Gordonsville blows out to a 35-0 lead. They get 2 interception returns for a touchdown. Matthew Albritton, another big night for the Tigers, 9 for 11, 119 yards, 3 touchdowns. Trayson Davis, 3 receptions for 45 yards, a couple of touchdowns, and also a 43-yard interception return for a TD. And then Kanan Musgrove, 24 yards rushing and a 78-yard interception return for a touchdown. Sebastian Bailaus leads Copper Basin with 16 rushes for 99 yards. But Coach Scott Clemens' team improves to 10-1, continue to roll.
They do, and they're going to be rooting for Clay County, I'll guarantee you, this week, so they don't have to entertain South Pitt the next, assuming that's their next opponent. But the one thing about not only Gordonsville, but Clay County both, they're still young football teams. There's a lot of juniors on the field throughout the evening when those two teams are playing, and looks like Gordonsville fans are going to have plenty to root about, not only this year, but next year as well.
Fairview at Smith County, the Owls get a big win at home, final score of 18-7. PAT department lacking a little bit, but Bryce Curry, another huge game, 18 rushes for 196 yards and a touchdown. He had 161 yards at halftime, Murphy.
Tell you what, that guy is, he's been the meat and potatoes of Smith County's offense this year, and just an outstanding running back, not terribly big, but you want the ball in his hands as many times as you can.
He had 998 yards coming into the game, so he's nearly got 1,200 for the year, and he's just a junior for Coach Matt Dyer. Colin Johnson, big night, 13 rushes, 113 yards and a touchdown. He scored the 3rd touchdown for the Owls. Peyton Hicks, just efficient, Murphy. I don't know any other way to put it. 24 yards passing, but rushing 72 yards. And the Owls, men up front, was a difference in that ballgame.
You took the words right out of my mouth, Terry. I said, I was thinking all the time you were reading that with numbers like that. Those guys are talented ball carriers, but somebody's got to be opening up holes for them. And the offensive line, way to go, guys. You did your job and did it well.
383 yards rushing for the night for the Owls. And Murphy, it's no secret, and it won't be any secret at White House, the Owls are going to run the football, and they've had quite a bit of success. And you look at, they're 6-5, and other than those opening 2 or 3 games where they struggled offensively, they've kind of got it together and got that running game, doing that with a punishing physical defense. And that's been the MO for the Owls all season.
It's kind of like Gary Rankin's football teams, whether he was at Smith County, whether he was at Riverdale, or whether he was at Alcoa. He doesn't run a lot of different plays. He'll only run 6 or 8 plays the entire ball game, but he'll say, stop us if you can, and we're going to keep running it until you can.
And when you look at the Owls up front, a lot of juniors and sophomores in that line that will be coming back, and that just bodes well for the Owls in the future.
Big boys up front. That's what you got to have to win football games, and that's something that Coach Matt Dyer has done a great job in coaching that team to the point they're at right now.
Murphy, when you look at the 5 teams from this area that we cover on a regular basis, for them to make it to the second round, which is the top 16 in all classifications, that just speaks well and really lets you know statewide how strong football is in this area.
It's changing. It's taken a while, but it is changing. The Upper Cumberland traditionally has been known as basketball country as long as I've been living in the Upper Cumberland, but it's starting to be football territory as well at several schools in this area.
We'll take a look at the first round of the playoffs, all the scores, and preview the second round when we return to the box score, brought to you by Blackwell Realty and the Josh Kirby team.
There's no shortage of real estate companies out there, but there's only one Blackwell Realty and Auction. The Kirby team with Blackwell Realty and Auction has the knowledge and the experience necessary to help you. They understand that real estate sales happen because of the hours of work they put into every sale, whether representing you as the buyer, the seller, or both. Get started today the Kirby way. The Kirby team with Blackwell Realty and Auction. Call them today or visit blackwellrealtyandauction.com.
At DTC, we're proud to provide the communication and entertainment services you need to get the most from today's technology.
For a limited time, get 1 month free when you add or upgrade internet with us. Fly at the speed the internet intended you to.
Get the technology you want, backed by local customer service from neighbors you know and trust. DTC Communications, your total communications provider.
Nearstar Middle Tennessee Mines in Gordonsville is hiring. We have open positions for master maintenance technicians, maintenance trainer, electricians, miners, mill operators, mill technicians, warehouse attendant, business analyst, mine supervisor, and other amazing opportunities. We offer competitive wages, excellent benefits, PTO, holiday pay, exceptional 401k, and much more. Make the most of your future and your career. Join the excellent team at Nearstar Middle Tennessee Mines in Gordonsville.
Powell & Metals Insurance, in business since 1894, provides knowledgeable and personal service to our clients. One call puts you in touch with a local agent who will help you shop from a variety of top companies. At Powell & Metals Insurance Agency, we work for you. Call today or visit us online anytime.
We are here to help you. Let us show you what customer service is all about. Give us a call today.
And welcome back to the Box Score. Terry Collins along with Murphy Fair. We want to thank our title sponsor, which is Blackwell Realty, and the Josh Kirby team for sponsoring the show. And Murphy, when you look in these first round Sonic of Carthage scores, not a lot of surprises. Maybe the Joe Burns at Whitwell is, but you would thought that South Pittsburgh would have run it up big on Red Boiling, Clay County, a big win over Sale Creek. Gordonsville over Copper Basin, we've already talked about, but Joe Burns going to Whitwell and getting a 28-6 win speaks a lot for the Red Devils.
A little bit of a surprise there, but not a whole lot. Whitwell with another first-year head coach. They've gone through head coaches the last 5 years pretty regularly, maybe 5 or 6 coaches in 4 or 5 years. But Joe Burns maybe putting it together a little bit better than most might have thought this time of year. They'll give Gordonsville a little bit of a battle, but I don't think it'll last very long.
Let's look at our second round matchups in Class 1A. You've got Oakdale at Cloudland, Midway at Coalfield, Clay County at South Pittsburgh, and Joe Burns at Gordonsville. That's the 8 teams that are left on the east half of the bracket.
Yeah, and I think South Pittsburgh and Gordonsville are destined for a battle next week. They've kind of been a regular opponent for each other the last few years, and I have no reason to believe that won't be the case again this time around.
Let's look at our Class 2A first round Sonic of Carthage scores, and a look at Meigs County, a big win over East Robertson. Trousdale County, a win over Tyner. Tyner, a very good ball club, and talking to some people from Trousdale County. Marion County, a win over Westmoreland, and then Watertown big over Bledsoe County.
I wouldn't be surprised if all 4 teams listed on the left side up there win rather large this week too. Meigs County and Trousdale will obviously face each other, I think, and they've played each other in the last couple of years or so, I think at least 2 years ago, because I went up there for that game. Marion and Watertown, that's kind of new territory. Marion traditionally has been a 3A team, but they dropped down to 2A this year. But I really like Watertown's chances of getting at least to the quarters, if not the semifinals.
Class 2A second round matchups, as Murphy had talked about. I went to the Watertown at Marion County game here 3 or 4 years ago. Marion County, a big win. That was when they still had Mr. Price at quarterback. But I think that'll be a great battle in Watertown on Friday night. Trousdale County at Meigs County. Meigs County, Murph, that was an impressive win. Both those teams undefeated when Meigs and Marion met there in week 11.
Yeah, 20-0, I think, was the final score in that game. And Meigs trying to get back to the Blue Cross Bowl for the 3rd straight time. They've got a couple of silver trophies. I know they'd love to get a golden one this year, but they'll have their hands full hosting Trousdale County, no doubt.
Class 3A first round Sonic of Carthage scores. Loudon over Grundy County, 42-6. There's Cannon County's big win over Signal Mountain, 10-7. Kingston over Sequatchie, Giles County over Sweetwater. Murphy, what you kind of see as we look at the matchups for Class 3A in the top half of the bracket?
Well, as much as I hate to say it, I think Loudon and Giles County are destined to win again this week, and ought to be a good battle between the two next week as well.
Is there anybody can knock off Alcoa in that east side of the bracket?
Probably no. Even if you put an all-star team together of the remaining teams that'll be playing that night, I seriously doubt it. Gary Rankin's got another quality football team, and they just keep putting marks in the win column.
Let's look at the bottom half of the bracket in Class 3A. Of course, showing you the scores. East Nashville big over White House Heritage, Waverly big over Jackson County, Smith County's win over Fairview, and White House a little bit of a struggle, but they beat Stratford 20-0. And Murphy, into those scores, I think that was kind of what everybody thought.
Kind of what they thought. Waverly having to play its game at Dickson County because of the flooding back in August, I think it was. But I think Smith County, with a very impressive win over Fairview's, got an excellent chance of going to White House and maybe advancing out of that one too. All those years that Smith County and White House used to scrimmage each other in the spring, but I don't know that they've played each other regular season more than a time or two.
They were on Channel 30 there, Murphy, maybe even one time in Carthage, once in White House when Jeff Porter was there. Jimmy Maynard, of course, his good friend, they had played them. They have played some, but mostly, just like this year, it was a preseason scrimmage.
Right.
In fact, the Owls traveled to White House in that scrimmage. So let's go ahead and look at the second round matchups for Class 3A. This is the west half of the bracket. Smith County this year in Region 5 3A. They go to Region 6 3A champ White House, who's 10-1. Waverly is at East Nashville. Millington at Dyersburg. Ripley at Covington. Murphy, this west side of the bracket, I'm not saying it's wide open, but I think a team could get hot in the playoffs and make it all the way to Chattanooga.
Yeah, Dyersburg, this was supposed to be a rebuilding year of sorts, but Coach Bart Stowe's team, even though they're 9-0, or they were 9-0, 10-0 now coming into the playoffs, if you look at the teams that they played this year, not really impressive. I think Covington's played a much tougher schedule, and it'll be interesting to see how those two bottom battles there work out. I think most people figure Dyersburg and Covington will battle each other, but those two teams, Dyersburg won 51-0 when they played Millington during the regular season, so I don't think Dyersburg will have any trouble with Millington Friday night.
Looking at the Smith County White House, Waverly, and East Nashville, you got to think East Nashville, they played a very tough schedule. They were the region champ. I would think they're the odds-on favorite out of those four teams to advance.
Yeah, I think you're dead on right there, Terry. East Nashville, loaded with talent, athletic ability, speed, all the qualities you need. I'm surprised they haven't been ranked a little bit higher, especially in the early part of the season. But Waverly is that sentimental favorite. They've battled so many obstacles this year and have come out on top every time. They didn't let a thing like a flood in the entire town stop them. Other schools had come through to let them use their football field that was unusable the entire season. They've had to play their home game somewhere else.
I think Waverly's only loss was to White House, and that was at the Titan Stadium.
Probably so, and so that just adds some extra incentive for those two to get together. Maybe next week. We'll have to wait and see.
Waverly's going to have to battle the size of East Nashville. Smith County's got a big team, but I'm not going to say they were dwarfed, but they were out-pounded, and that's saying a lot when you look at the size of Smith County's line against East Nashville, who also had quickness to go with that size.
Well, you don't ever have to worry about East Nashville having speed and athletic ability. When you add size to that formula, it makes it really hard to get past the Eagles of East Nashville.
Let's go ahead and look at the Class 4A first round Sonic of Carthage scores. I want to thank Sonic for sponsoring these scores for us each and every week. Red Bank on top of Stone Memorial, 41-6. Macon County comes from behind. They were down 26-14. Score the last two touchdowns of the game. Hang on 28-26 in Lafayette. DeKalb County, after being down by 14 there in the first half, comes back, wins that game 35-21. And then Upland Big win over Saudi Daisy, 49-7. Upperman and Red Bank are probably the two teams that may be destined to meet there in that semifinal matchup.
I think you're right there. Adam Kane's got another really good football team this year, and Adam just does such a great job with fundamentals. They don't make a whole lot of mistakes, and their record indicates that. I think it's interesting that the Upper Cumberland has outdone Hamilton County 3-1 in first round play. That's pretty impressive. Not that Chattanooga has a lot of great football teams. I guess the last time they won may have been back when Red Bank beat a Gary Rankin Riverdale team in the snow at MTSU. But that's kudos for Upper Cumberland football and how far it's come in a short period of time.
Let's look at the second round matchups. Knoxville Fulton at Greenville. That should be a great one, Murph. Elizabethton and Anderson County. Then Macon County's traveling down to Red Bank, which is right off 111 there. 111 turns into 27, so it's right off that. So it's an easy drive for the folks from Lafayette. And then DeKalb County facing a familiar foe. They call it the Battle of Center Hill. DeKalb County and Upland.
Those two listings at the top intrigue me the most. Not that I don't care about the other two games, but last year and the year before, Elizabethton went back-to-back with state championships, 15-0 both years. The 2 years prior to that, Greenville went back-to-back 15-0 seasons. Fulton has already won, I think, 3 football titles. Anderson County, bless their hearts, they're trying so hard to get past that second or third round battle. And I think this year they may have the players they need to make that happen. They support their football up there incredibly so. They've got a video board that they can replay the stuff on the screen. And then they've also got stadium lights that are strobes, multicolored strobes. And I'll tell you what, they put on a show when they score points just outside of Clinton.
Murphy, do you see anybody besides Elizabethton or Greenville out of those 8 teams advancing?
The only possibility, I think, is Upperman. And I don't know if they've got enough to battle Elizabethton and Greenville. Greenville's been, I think, number 1 the last few weeks, and they're probably the team to beat in that group of 8 teams.
We'll announce the DTC Communications Player of the Year when we return to the box score, brought to you by Blackwell Realty and the Josh Kirby team.
The Smith County Drug Prevention Coalition encourages our teenagers to be the positive influence. Stand against the epidemic of opioid and stimulant usage by joining the Youth Coalition #TakeBackTeam. 6% of Smith County students reported misusing prescription drugs. The #TakeBackTeam challenges you to stand outside the stack. This project is funded under a grant contract with the Tennessee Department of Mental Health and Substance Abuse Services.
2 delicious options, 2 convenient locations. So make the entire family happy with just one stop to KFC Taco Bell. Located at 501 Gordonsville Highway in Gordonsville and 105 East Broad Street in Smithville, we've got you covered at KFC Taco Bell, no matter the food craving. So what are you waiting for? Go ahead, get in the car and kick that hunger to the curb with a quick visit to KFC Taco Bell. Located in Gordonsville and Smithville. Stop by today.
Nearstar Middle Tennessee Mines in Gordonsville is hiring. We have open positions for master maintenance technicians, maintenance trainer, electricians, miners, mill operators, mill technicians, warehouse attendant, business analyst, mine supervisor, and other amazing opportunities. We offer competitive wages, excellent benefits, PTO, holiday pay, exceptional 401k, and much more. Make the most of your future and your career. Join the excellent team at Nearstar Middle Tennessee Mines in Gordonsville.
And welcome back to the box score, brought to you by Blackwell Realty and the Josh Kirby team. DTC Communications, we've got a Player of the Year, and we're going to talk about some Hall of Fame games in this segment. And our Player of the Year is Mr. Isaac Knowles. And when you look at the graphic, Murphy, of course, he had played quarterback part of the time. He's played receiver. He's played various positions on defense. But a very, very stat-stuffed career for Isaac Knowles, who's now the all-time leader in receptions. Interceptions for the year at 18. I mean, that just, he's done it all.
That bottom stat that's up there, 18 picks in his career as a Tiger football player, is the most impressive as far as I'm concerned. And I think you mentioned several weeks ago he also sold popcorn at halftime, right?
Seems like
a bit of everything.
Let's go ahead and look at some highlights that we've got for Isaac for the year. I know he did a lot of different things, and you see him circle there. And of course, this game was at Tennessee Tech, and just shows you about the elusiveness of this young man and the speed as well. 2 or 3 times there, Murphy, looks like, hey, he's not going to make it, and he just uses that speed, and he's gone.
Looked like he was going to do well just to get out of the backfield, but as you said, once he gets into the open field, and he's equally strong on defense as well, as you can see.
Pancake right there. Now we've got a little hitch and go, and once again, Murphy shows that speed, gets behind the defense, and the quarterback hits him perfect for a long touchdown. This game at Smithville, and when you look, Murphy, you just got to throw it up, and say what you want to about Coach Trapp. He's got some guys that can put the ball on the money.
They do. You look at those passes on, and I know this is just a highlight film, so they're only showing the good things, but they're right on the money, and that's why they're ready to play second-round football this week.
There's him going again for the touchdown against Smith County. Unfortunately, I saw this a little bit too much. He picks up the punt and rambles 67 yards for the score, a bunch of diving owls, and he made a good couple of cuts there and gets in the end zone.
Those first 3 steps were incredible. They had to go back and find their mouthpiece somewhere.
That's for sure. Let's go ahead and turn it over to our student partners at DeKalb County High School, who spoke with Isaac this week after being named the DTC Player of the Year.
We are here with DeKalb County football player Isaac Knowles. He was recently named the 2021 DTC Communications Player of the Year. Isaac, what does it mean to you to win this award?
Well, it's honestly just a great honor. I know DTC covers quite a few football programs in our area, and just to be considered the best of them, it's not only a great award for me, but a great award for my team, because I couldn't do it without them.
You're a multiple sport athlete for the Tigers. Do you believe that has helped you become a better player on the football field?
Oh, 100%. I see myself as I play center field in baseball. I can see it come out of me when I'm playing safety when the ball's in the air and just trying to track it down.
You have been a leader on this team and stepped into any position asked of you during this season. What does it mean to you to have been named captain for this season?
Well, honestly, I remember when I was little, about 6 years old, watching those 4 guys go out there for the coin toss, and I remember when I was 6, I was like, I want to be that guy one day. And to just be that guy, it was a great honor awarded to me before the season even started, and I still tote it with me as one of my greatest accomplishments up to this point.
How do you and the team make each other better?
Well, at practice, there's a famous quote that iron sharpens iron. When we just bash each other and bash each other and bash each other, we just create competition. Competition is what makes us better.
You currently sit at the #1 spot all time for DeKalb County in interceptions. How have you been so successful as a ball hawk on defense?
Well, as I stated previously, I played baseball and I played center field. And I can see that come out of me when I'm playing safety, because when the ball's in the air, I can kind of gauge and range if I can get it or not. Most of the time, I feel like I can, so I just go up and get it.
You've got plenty of moves to choose from while on the field. What is your favorite move to use?
100% the stiff arm. There is nothing as satisfying as putting your hand on an opposing player's helmet and throwing him off.
You've lined up all over the field this season, from receiver, running back, quarterback, returner to defensive back. What is your favorite position to play?
I just love the sport of football. I really don't have a favorite position. As long as I'm out there on the field, I'm happy.
You've been a part of the playoff team every year for the Tigers. Does anything stand out this year compared to previous seasons?
Well, this year we weren't really expected to win the last game we played. I know in previous years we were expected to win multiple games because of our seeding, but this year coming in as the 3 seed, we were kind of the underdogs. Everybody honestly thought we were going to get killed, but this year's a little bit different because we don't have any pressure on our back. We don't have any pressure to succeed besides within the team. And that's what I feel like advances us farther than anybody's ever gone in this program.
Do you have any routines or superstitions for game day?
Not necessarily, but if I don't get a pregame nap in, I get a little bit weary about how I'm going to play. It's just something, I guess, within me. It's like it just resets everything.
Are there any situations that excite you or cause you to elevate your play?
When opposing teams look down on us, I feel like it definitely elevates our style of play and elevates the way we play, because something about being a little old DeKalb County team just fuels me when people try to like look down on us or act like we're not half as good as they are.
Who's your favorite pro player and why?
Favorite pro player? Well, if I was going favorite pro player all time, it's definitely Troy Polamalu. Just the way he plays safety and like all the crazy plays he made. And I guess if I had a favorite pro player right now, probably Christian McCaffrey. I know he gets hurt a lot, but just the way he catches the ball, the way he runs the ball, and the moves he makes is just exciting to watch.
What is the most memorable moment you've had as a Tiger in your career?
So far, my most memorable moment would have been my sophomore year in the second round of the playoffs when we beat Marshall County. Nobody expected us to win that game. Marshall County thought that they had an easy win. They asked Coach Trapp before the game if how the other teams were looking from our side, because they looked right past us. And I think we were down with going into the fourth quarter, we were down 10. I remember looking at the scoreboard and I was like, we're going to come out on top. And we ended up winning that game with like a last-second drive and a last-second pick. It was just an amazing feeling, and being the first time ever going to the third round was amazing.
And we want to thank our students at DeKalb County High School for that interview with Isaac Knowles. And now we're going to turn our attention, Murph, to some Hall of Fame games. Basketball coming up here next week. I know it doesn't seem like that it should be, but it's here. East Robertson at Gordonsville, Smith County's at Red Boiling Springs, DeKalb County at White House. That starts us off on Tuesday. Then on Friday, you got some games on Thursday. Watertown at Mount Juliet Christian on the boys only game. Smyrna at Watertown, Cannon County at Cascade. Of course, the unfortunate thing is we look at some more of these games. Watertown at St. Cecilia, girls only. DeKalb County at Gordonsville, Cannon County at Van Buren County. Smith County's at Clark Range. Janie Guffey's hometown Lady Buffaloes entertaining once again, and Lamar Rogers, longtime coach there. No doubt be a tough place for the Owls or the Lady Owls to get a victory, and then they follow that up with a pair of games against Livingston Academy. They're starting at 9 o'clock, playing to about 3 o'clock, the Owls and Lady Owls. So they'll have to leave Carthage pretty early, Murph, and get the no-dos out.
Well, when you said 9:30, I didn't know if you were talking about morning or evening.
Yeah, they start at 9 and go to 3. So, when you look at these Hall of Fame games, of course, they started this a few years ago. If you donate the receipts, attendance to TSSAA, easy for me to say, then, you get to start basically a week early. And used to, you could count or you could not count these games. But I'm glad now that everybody's counting them, because you got real refs there. It's played just like a real game.
Well, and it gives the kids an opportunity to maybe some of those places like Livingston, for example, they didn't win a single football game all season long. I know they're going to be excited about basketball coming around, and several other schools, like I said earlier in the show this week, basketball's generally been king and queen of the sports program throughout the Upper Cumberland. Football's starting to eat in on that a little bit, but it's time for basketball, and everybody's excited about the possibilities in the immediate future.
Murphy, a lot of these coaches, for instance, Smith County, if Smith County were to win this week, they're going to be without players the next week, and that's going to be the case a lot on your single A, well, basically 1A, 2A, 3A levels, and maybe even some in 4A.
Well, like you said, if Upperman wins this week and next, that's definitely going to eat into that situation a while too.
Murphy, when you look and trying to get those players to gel with the basketball players that have been in the gym for a couple of months, maybe even 3 months, it makes a big difference for the teams like that maybe don't have football, like a Clark Range, who has been in the gym the whole time, unless they co-opt with York, to play football. You see those teams playing better early than you do maybe some of these other teams that make deep runs in the playoffs.
Yeah, and another thing we've got to consider with basketball this year, 4 classifications instead of 3. So there's going to be a lot of new people on everybody's schedule this year because they could very well be in a different classification.
We'll take a look at this week's upcoming games, including the Huff and Puff Trucking Game of the Week on DTC Sports. Plus, we'll get Murphy's Picks when we return to the box score, brought to you by Blackwell Realty and the Josh Kirby team.
There's no shortage of real estate companies out there, but there's only one Blackwell Realty and Auction. The Kirby team with Blackwell Realty and Auction has the knowledge and the experience necessary to help you. They understand that real estate sales happen because of the hours of work they put into every sale, whether representing you as the buyer, the seller, or both. Get started today the Kirby way. The Kirby team with Blackwell Realty and Auction. Call them today or visit blackwellrealtyandauction.com.
2 delicious options, 2 convenient locations. So make the entire family happy with just one stop to KFC Taco Bell. Located at 501 Gordonsville Highway in Gordonsville and 105 East Broad Street in Smithville, we've got you covered at KFC Taco Bell, no matter the food craving. So what are you waiting for? Go ahead, get in the car and kick that hunger to the curb with a quick visit to KFC Taco Bell. Located in Gordonsville and Smithville. Stop by today.
So, go check it out.
Deterring crime. It's the first job of a home security system from DTC Security.
For just $49.99, get a system with a touch keypad, 3 window or door sensors, motion detector, key fob, and standard installation.
Let us help protect your home.
So?
A lot of nice stuff and an alarm.
Don't delay. Call DTC Security now or visit us online.
Powell & Metals Insurance, in business since 1894, provides knowledgeable and personal service to our clients. One call puts you in touch with a local agent who will help you shop from a variety of top companies. At Powell & Metals Insurance Agency, we work for you. Call today or visit us online anytime.
We are here to help you. Let us show you what customer service is all about. Give us a call today.
The Smith County Drug Prevention Coalition encourages our teenagers to be the positive influence. Stand against the epidemic of opioid and stimulant usage by joining the Youth Coalition #TakeBackTeam. 6% of Smith County students reported misusing prescription drugs. The #TakeBackTeam challenges you to stand outside the stack. This project is funded under a grant contract with the Tennessee Department of Mental Health and Substance Abuse Services.
And welcome back to the box score, brought to you by Blackwell Realty and the Josh Kirby team. It's our final segment, and Murphy, this is one I know you enjoy, but before we get to your picks, let's look at the Huff and Puff Trucking Game of the Week on DTC Sports. Of course, it's got to be tape delayed, and the reason being, the TWSAA doesn't allow that live coverage, and it's Joe Burns at Gordonsville, a game, Murphy, that Gordonsville won earlier handily in the regular season. These two teams have faced each other the last few years. Gordonsville's had quite a bit of success. As you can see on the bottom of the screen there, it shows you when those replays are going to be for that game. But still, Scott Clemens' team knows, hey, we can't think about South Pittsburgh right now. Our focus has got to be on Joe Burns.
48-6 was the score back on October 6th when Gordonsville defeated the Red Devils. And like you said, that's probably the biggest thing that Coach Clemens is going to stress this week. As much as they'd like to think about South Pitt, you don't play South Pitt until you finish off with Joe Burns.
Series began back in 1981, the 11th meeting between these two schools. Gordonsville leads the all-time series 8-2. 3 games in a row played at Gordonsville between these two teams. As Justin has on the graphic, Tigers won the regular season real comfortably, 48-6. Coach Scott Clemens 4-0 as a head coach versus Joe Burns, but he's never played him as a 50-year-old guy. So, that may enter in factor. He may have to have a nap at halftime.
I ain't going there, Terry. I'm telling you.
Drag me with you. Okay, I'll go solo on the limb myself. Red Devils last won in 2015 in Gordonsville, 35-6. And then the points per game in the series, Gordonsville averaging 25.8, Joe Burns averaging 12.6. Murphy, when you look at this ball game, it's the playoffs. You can throw the records out the window. win in advance, lose, and you go home.
Yeah, that's the bottom line to the whole thing. And certainly both teams, I think, will be very well prepared. The coaching staff, Tom Adkins and company at Joe Burns, always does a great job. A former Red Devil himself several years ago, and he loves that program today just as much as he did when he wore that uniform several years ago.
Yeah. Let's go ahead and look at some of Murph's picks coming up. The Guru going to go down through there. Joe Burns at Gordonsville.
Well, I don't think there's any question that Gordonsville will win that game. The big question is by how much, and does everybody come out of the game healthy, because they'll need those guys the following week, assuming they get the win.
Big ball game, Marion County at Watertown.
Yeah, Marion County, it'll be interesting to see how they respond after that loss 2 weeks ago to Meigs County. Obviously, they bounced back well last week, but they've got to be prepared too not to be looking ahead to that Trousdale County game if it materializes the next week.
An uphill fight for Cannon County going to Loudon. They have so much tradition there. Murphy, it's an old kind of stadium. Just tradition feel when you walk in that Loudon field.
We all know, living in this area, the success that Trousdale County, Hartsville, however you want to call it, had in the late 60s and early 70s when the playoffs began. And Loudon's another team was right in that mix all the time. I think Trousdale County played them 2 or 3 times over a 4 or 5 year period. So two programs with great tradition, great history. The Lions are going to have their hands full, but they did win last week and they're playing their best football right now.
Smith County at White House, that should be a headbanger. You know, White House, a very talented quarterback, a very talented running back. The Owls are going to have their A game.
Yeah, they will, but they don't have to worry about Scotty Yemen going in the wrong restroom at before the game started, right?
That is correct.
I'm going to go with Smith County in that one.
All right, DeKalb County and Upperman, the Battle of Center Hill there.
Yeah, and those teams have met before, as we've talked about already. I was going to look through here very quickly. Upperman won 24-14 on October 15th. So that should give them a little incentive maybe to even the score a little bit.
And, Upperman did not have a 2-score advantage till late in the fourth quarter. It was a 1-score game up until that point. Let's go ahead and look at some of Murphy's picks. Murphy, just take it away. Start the top, go to the bottom.
Well, Chuck Gentry's done such a great job with Lebanon this year. I don't think anyone, even the teams in that particular region, expected them to be on top of the region, but that's where they are. That'll be a battle, I think, start to finish, but I think Riverdale's just got too much athletic ability, and I'm going to have to go with the Murfreesboro team in that one. Gallatin at Hendersonville, always a war when they play. The schools are just, 10 or 15 miles apart, I guess. Hendersonville won big during the regular season. I think they probably will again this week. Columbia Central, a team that only got their head coach less than 2 weeks before the start of the season, but they'll have their hands full at Green Hill, a team that has surprised everyone in only their second year of existence. I'll have to go with Green Hill in that one.
A lot of people were expecting Mount Juliet to beat Columbia for a rematch. It didn't happen.
No, it didn't. Nolensville visits Page. Again, 2 schools in the same county. Williamson ought to be a dandy. I think that's probably where I'm going to go, and I'll pick Page in that one. Home field advantage, if for no other reason. Friendship Christian, I saw them in DCA play during the regular season. DCA controlled that game from the opening kickoff until the final horn, and I think they will do so again. And then Trinity Christian out of Jackson having to make the long drive to Murfreesboro to take on Middle Tennessee Christian. I'll have to go with the home team in that one as well.
Well, Murphy, that puts a wrap on another week. I know we're anxious to see the second round of the playoffs. Things next week, we'll get down to the quarterfinals if you can advance.
That's right. Big times are on the way.
That's for sure. We want to thank Blackwell Realty and the Josh Kirby team, and you've been watching The Box Score.